I started my professional activity as a neurologist, trying to bring relief to my neurotic patients. Under the influence of an older friend and by my own efforts, I discovered some important new facts about the unconscious in psychic life, the role of instinctual urges, and so on. Out of these findings grew a new science, psychoanalysis, a part of psychology, and a new method of treatment of the neurosis.
The world hangs on a thin thread, and that is the psyche of man. Nowadays we are not threatened by elementary catastrophes. There is no such thing as an H-bomb. That is all man's doing. We are the great danger. The psyche is the great danger. What if something goes wrong with the psyche? See? And so you see, it is demonstrated to us in our days what the power of the psyche is of man, how important it is to know something about it, but we know nothing about it. Nobody would give credit to the idea that the psychical processes of the ordinary man have any importance whatever. One thinks, oh, he has just what he has in his head. It is all from his surrounding, his thought, such a thing, believes such a thing. And particularly if he's well housed and well fed, then he has no ideas at all. And that's the great mistake. Because he is just that as which he is born, and he is not born as tabula rasa, but as a reality.
Therapy means healing, and logos means meaning. Thus, logotherapy is really healing through meaning, although this, of course, is an oversimplification.
In which respect does it speak to a present need?
One gets this impression, for instance, by the fact that my book, which has the title Man's Search for Meaning, has been printed in 300,000 copies, only the paperback edition. I wouldn't say that this constitutes an achievement or an accomplishment on my part, but in the first place, one should evaluate this in terms of a symptom on the part of the mass neurosis. In fact, today, the search for meaning is what has become frustrated, and people, our patients, complain that they cannot see any longer a meaning or purpose in their lives, and this feeling of meaninglessness, of emptiness, and of a vacuum, an inner void, is what induces them to come to psychiatry.
Existential vacuum?
That's right, and this constitutes a challenge to psychiatry today.
How can psychiatry cope with it, and can a psychiatrist give meaning?
By no means. The patient must find the meaning of his life himself. However, a psychiatrist may well make a patient aware of the fact that life, in principle, never ceases to hold a meaning for each and every person.
From my own years of therapeutic experience, I've come to feel that if I can create the proper climate, the proper relationship, the proper conditions, a process of therapeutic movement will almost inevitably occur in my client. And then ask, what is this climate? What are these conditions? Will they exist in the interview with the woman I'm about to talk with, whom I've never seen before? Well, let me try to describe very briefly what these conditions are as I see them. First of all, one question is, can I be real in the relationship? This has come to have an increasing amount of importance to me over the years. I feel that genuineness is another way of describing the quality I would like to have. I like the term congruence, by which I mean that what I'm experiencing inside is present in my awareness and comes out through my communication. In a sense, when I have this quality, I'm all in one piece in the relationship. There's another word that describes it for me. I feel that in the relationship, I would like to have a transparency. I would be quite willing for my client to see all the way through me, that there would be nothing hidden. And when I'm real in this fashion that I'm trying to describe, then I know that my own feelings will often bubble up into awareness and be expressed, but be expressed in ways that won't impose themselves on my client. Then the second question I would have is, will I find myself prizing this person, caring for this person? I certainly don't want to pretend a caring that I don't feel. In fact, if I dislike my client persistently, I feel it's better that I should express it. But I know that the process of therapy is much more likely to occur, and constructive change is much more likely, if I feel a real spontaneous prizing of this individual with whom I'm working. A prizing of this person as a separate individual. You can call that quality acceptance, you can call it caring, you can call it a non-possessive love, if you wish. I think any of those terms tend to describe it. I know that the relationship will prove more constructive if it's present. Then the third quality, will I be able to understand the inner world of this individual from the inside? Will I be able to see it through her eyes? Will I be able to be sufficiently sensitive to move around inside the world of her feelings so that I know what it feels like to be her, so that I can sense not only the surface meanings, but some of the meanings that lie somewhat underneath the surface. I know that if I can let myself sensitively and accurately enter into her world of experience, then change and therapeutic movement are much more likely.
Now, I think anxiety is associated with creativity. When you're in a situation of anxiety, you can, of course, run away from it, and that's certainly not constructive. Or you can take a few pills to get you over it, or cocaine, or whatever else you may take.
You could meditate.
Well, you could meditate, but I think none of those things, including meditation, which I happen to believe in, but none of those paths lead you to creative activity. What anxiety means is it's as though the world is knocking at your door, and you need to create, you need to make something, you need to do something. And I think anxiety thus is, for people who have found their own heart and their own souls, for them it is a stimulus toward creativity, toward courage. It's what makes us human beings. Psychotherapy is facing a very profound crisis. I think the teaching of the fathers, Freud and Jung and Rank and Adler, has been, in this crisis, almost completely lost. And the problem is that psychotherapy becomes more and more a system of gimmicks. People have special ways of doing their own therapy. They learn which particular buttons to push. They're taught various techniques by which they can, so they think at least cure this isolated symptom or that. Now that wasn't the purpose at all of Freud and Jung and the rest of the really great men who began our field. Their purpose was to make the unconscious conscious. And there's a great deal of difference between that. Now the gimmick approach leads to a general boredom. And the reason there are so many new systems of psychotherapy that spring up, every time you turn around there's a new system. 300 or 400 now that exists with this kind of therapy, that kind. The reason that this happens is that people are simply bored. As a therapist are bored. And they have to find some new gimmick in order to make it amusing, at least to them. Now they're bored because they deal with the minor problems of life. They patch a person up and send him out again. I don't regard that as real therapy at all. The therapy that is important, as I see it, is the therapy that enlarges the person, makes the unconscious conscious. It enlarges our view, it enlarges our experience, makes us more sensitive, it enlarges our intellectual capacities as well as other capacities. Now this is what Freud was setting out to do. It's what Jung was trying to do. So Adler and Otto Rank, these people never talk about these gimmicks. It just didn't interest them. What did interest them was making a new person.
In parole difficili, è la scoperta in modo scientifico razionale della ontologia dell'uomo. In concreto, se io per esempio devo capire una persona o curarla, io intercetto questa essenza base psico-organica, cioè come pensa e come è fatto. Quindi è cellulare, ma è anche di progetto. Quando dico progetto, lei deve pensare a un architetto. Un architetto fa una casa. Lui ce l'ha in mente la casa. È precisa. Se lei coglie il progetto, la casa è sua come conoscenza. Quindi questo è un progetto semovente. Volgarmente la chiamano anima, ma è una cosa seria, una cosa che non si lascia rovinare, non si lascia manipolare. O è come è o muore. E cioè, ho scoperto qual è il processo base dell'essere, esistere uomo. Quest'uomo, non in genere. Io prendo uno schizofrenico. Ok, c'è qualcosa che non funziona in lui, d'accordo. Ma io per sapere che cos'è che non funziona, non prendo il criterio dalla società, o dai medici, o dai parenti. Con questa ontopsicologia io rilevo immediatamente il progetto cardine, il progetto essenziale, che è psichico e fisiologico, è contemporaneo. Vedo come è fatto il suo progetto e poi correggo lui, il malato, piano piano, per riportarlo alla sua identità di natura. Identità di natura. Io ho scoperto un progetto totale dell'essere umano, di quell'essere umano. Perché in lei c'è un progetto, in lei ce n'è un altro. Ecco, l'ontopsicologia consente di scoprire metodicamente questo progetto elementare.